Coming up, our second podcast with Christina from the Wisconsin DNR. We will be talking about the elk herds in Wisconsin. Hello, I'm Dean Romano. It's time for Outdoor Wild. All right. Good morning, Christine. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Good, good. Now I know that you're a wildlife biologist for the DNR, Wisconsin DNR. Okay, and you're located in Jackson County.
That's correct. Jackson County out of Black River Falls.
Okay, the elk were I wanted to say released in Black River. What year was that?
Yeah, elk were brought from Kentucky to Black River Falls in 2015 and 2016.
Oh, okay. So it's been a good 10 years now. So good.
hmm
Um, so now my question is, how are they doing? How's the elk herds doing in there up there?
Sure. So in the early years of reintroduction, that 2015, 2016, elk resided in the land on the landscapes across Jackson County, mostly the eastern side of Jackson County. As a new species or new animal out on the landscape, they kind of had to figure out where to reside. They were on a landscape with predators, bear, wolves, coming from Kentucky, no wolves in Kentucky. And so had a little steep learning curve initially, but after those first couple years, they really settled out in areas where they could exist and maybe encounter predator pressures, but figure out how to deal with it. And so since then, since about 2017 or 2018, we've seen a steady increase in the population annually. And so I'd say the last 3-year average, we see about a 15 to 17% increase annually in the herd. And so the central elk herd is doing quite well. One of the things that really drives our production or our population increase is our calf survival and our recruitment to year one. And so our calf survival, we just wrapped up a 3-year project looking at calf survival for both the central elk herd and the northern elk herd. And it's looking to be near our long-term average, which is about 80% survival. So 80% of our calves that are being dropped make it to their first birthday. So strong recruitment into the population, and that's really kind of driving our population increase.
Well, that's pretty nice. So now you guys have the hunting in place, which helps raise money for the land regeneration and the wildlife there, the elk herds and such, correct?
hmm
So,
Yes.
okay, yeah. Well, let's get into that. Go ahead.
Sure, sure. Modern day hunting has been an option for state residents since 2018. In the northern zone, they have had a hunt since 2018.
Okay,
For the central elk herd, our first modern day hunt was held in 2024, so last year. It started with 4 bull tags were available for, like I said, state residents to apply for. And it's a random draw process, and so everyone has an equal opportunity to win one of these or be awarded one of these licenses. So, yeah, 2024 we had 4 bull tags for the central zone, or the central elk herd in Jackson County. And then in 2025, we had 4 bull tags as well as 5 antlerless tags available. And so an increased opportunity for Wisconsin residents to be able to pursue elk in their home state. And, the incorporation or offering of that antlerless harvest is kind of a nod at the productivity of our population for the central herd.
right.
It offers additional opportunity for hunters, and it also allows us to manage the population at more of an objective or a population increase level where we would like to see it managed at. And so, antlerless harvest is your kind of one driver of a population where you can have some effect on it. And so, like I mentioned, having that 15 to 17% annual increase. We've been at a population increase like this over the last few years. And so taking a few antlerless elk out of the population will still allow for a population increase year over year, but maybe instead of looking at this kind of rate of change, we're looking at this kind of population increase. So, it's kind of multifaceted. Like I mentioned, you're offering additional tags out there and opportunities for hunters, but
Right.
yeah, we've seen good success in our hunting seasons. The elk hunters have a lot of days of opportunities to pursue elk across Wisconsin. So often we see nearly 100% success rate in our state licensed hunters.
That's wonderful news. That's good news. Well, and the thing is now on the hunts, do you allow there's the gun hunt and bow hunt, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, so the elk licenses are not weapon specific. So they can use
Oh,
whatever weapon they'd
no
like,
preference.
archery
Got it.
equipment or firearm,
Okay.
similar to deer. Whatever weapon you can use for deer, big game you'd be able to use for elk as well.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Well, that's very interesting. And, it gives a little broad perspective for those that want to get up there and maybe do that. So,
Hmm.
so if I wanted to do an elk hunt, I'd have to put in register and get set up, and then we see if I would be qualified for that.
That's right. Yep. So our elk application period opens on March 1st,
Okay.
and it runs until May 31st. And so Wisconsin residents can go in, they select a zone, so either the northern zone or the central zone, and then in goes their application. Our customer service staff conducts a random draw. And then actually the elk biologist, so myself for the central herd and Josh Spiegel in the northern herd, we get the opportunity to contact those selected license holders and let them know that they have won or been issued a Wisconsin elk tag. So that occurs about the first week in June. So
Okay.
after that application period closes, we quickly notify the winners for the licenses. So.
That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Okay.
Mhm.
I'll have to look at that. But well, the thing is, it's good to hear that kind of news because now I noticed you told me the northern herd and the herd by you and the herd, so that's good. That's showing a nice little increase, and
Mhm.
that really opens up some doors for sportsmen and shows a good herd management kind of expanding a bit, which you want, and then keeping it regulated at the same time. So
Mhm.
that's there's really not much pick on here. That sounds like a great
Mhm.
thing. So
Yeah, you're really spot on. And so we were excited, the department was excited to be able to offer a central herd hunt in 2024, just,
right,
9 years after reintroduction. And it really is a nod at quality management, but then, the health of the population doing well enough to be able to support a limited, albeit, but opportune hunt to be able to, like you said, manage the population as well. And so,
right,
just like any species, hunting is one of the management tools that we have available to us. So,
right.
yeah, looking forward to seasons in the future and how our elk program will continue to progress over years. We will be incorporating the use of hunting units. And
Hmm.
so, maybe similar to deer hunting with our deer management units,
Right.
we'll be having elk hunting units. And so, in 2024 and 2025, we had zone-wide tags, and so
Okay.
kind of a broad reach as to wherever that hunt or that harvest rather could occur, which obviously allows for great opportunity for hunters, spatially across a large area. However, to really tailor some of our management opportunities, incorporating the use of these hunting units will allow us to kind of pinpoint, hopefully on a more localized scale, where the harvest is occurring. And so, we'll set maybe some objectives for certain areas if we want to decrease some of the animals that are there, if they're in an area that they're residing and existing, there's not a ton of conflict occurring, we can allow that group or the elk in that unit to increase. So it's really going to increase our management at more of a local scale. And so I'll say too, you kind of alluded to it, is through our application process, it does cost $10 for
Okay.
residents to apply for the application.
Okay.
If awarded, the license is $49. And so I kind of throw out those numbers because that
Sure.
that elk license is really actually quite financially feasible for most people. Is one thing that was determined early on, that they didn't want to make this unobtainable to people
Right.
because of the price. But through that application process, seven of the $10 goes back to our elk stamp funding, and that pot of money funds our management and our research. So it really, although those funds go directly back into on the ground work that we were able to conduct. So yeah, very thankful to have that kind of self-generated revenue, if you may, by our elk hunters. So it's great system.
That is so awesome because what I'm hearing is that the funds that a lot of the funds are put into the program, which helps keep things in perspective for the elk herds. Now, and what I like about that, to be honest with you, is that that's a fair price.
Hmm.
That's a fair
Hmm.
price. I mean, I, I definitely probably going to be looking into that.
Yeah, yeah, it certainly is. And I mean, often we get some of our say tips and tricks from other states, but I think, Wisconsin is quite reasonable for state hunters in that regard. And
Right.
so yeah, you look at some of these Western states and you're pitching out a few $100s to
Oh
get that elk
yeah.
tag. So
Okay, and for anybody that's never done it or ever had any, they're a big animal. There's a lot there, and if someone is fortunate enough to get one, they're gonna have a good supply for a while.
yeah, the freezer will be quite full.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. And honestly, no, it's been a long time since I had it. It was at a game feed. Now, when I get into this, don't get me wrong. When I hunt, I love hunting. Don't get me wrong, but the woods is the trophy is a bonus. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
just love getting out there, and it's not just hunting. I do a lot of other things. That in our show we cover a lot of different subjects. I remember going backpacking in the Lake of the Clouds one time and
Mm-hmm.
living under the skies up there, and just wow, beautiful. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's so much you can enjoy about the outdoors, but the elk at a bonus, in my opinion. So I just enjoy getting out there. I guess that's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. And I enjoy hunting, but I enjoy fishing. I enjoy a lot of it, but I enjoy the beauty of it, nature, and
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not doing that, then I just enjoy getting out there. So it's
Yeah,
let's see.
certainly. Yep, I totally agree with you and know exactly where you're coming from. And
Yeah,
like I mentioned, one of the great things is that the elk biologist position, it allows us to have and establish a pretty tight relationship with some of these elk hunters. And so the elk hunters have to go through this mandatory hunter orientation. It's in our state statute, and there we present on, the reintroduction, but then we really dive into the elk hunting process, kind of what habitat types elk are using across Wisconsin or within their management zones, kind of what to look for, and then really what happens after the hunt. Because as you mentioned, it's not a 150-pound whitetail that we're talking
right.
about. So
This
it's
is a big
it can be a
animal.
little bit more tricky and a little more technical if folks aren't aware or haven't done it before. But, building that relationship with the hunters, there hasn't been a single time that someone has been upset or disappointed about it. Often, sure, our success rate is often 100%, but people put in the time and put in the work, and they enjoy being in our area and out on our landscapes. It's a beautiful area, big tracts and big swaths of public lands. The elk season opens the Saturday nearest October 15th, so you're right in that peak fall time, still catching some bugling going on. So it's just a great time to be in the woods. And gosh, the hunters are so happy with their harvest, whether it be a mature dominant bull, an immature bull, or even a cow.
Yeah.
That my cow hunters this year, even they were just jazzed about having the opportunity and filling their tags. So it's great to be able to be a part of it and see their excitement and kind of sharing that a little bit, live a little vicariously through them. But yeah, it's great.
Well, you're gonna be seeing me, I'm sure.
If
I'm
I
looking
haven't talked
forward
you
to
into
it.
it yet,
Uh,
maybe by
But,
the end of the segment.
yeah, but you do have yes, exactly. But you do have the different zones too, which is kind of nice that they're doing that well. That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Yeah, yep. So the Northern Elk Zone, kind of centralized around the Clam Lake area, but comes down on the Flambeau State Forest as well. So a larger elk management zone down there, and then the Central Elk Zone here in Eastern Jackson County. So yeah, two opportunities for folks to at least put their hat in the game. But
Yeah,
our elk program and elk existence across Wisconsin, it is more than just the hunt,
absolutely.
We
Yeah,
get a lot of information and data actually through photographers and people out there sightseeing and coming to our areas, like coming to our counties to see elk. So
yeah,
yeah, it's a great species to have in Wisconsin, whether you're a consumptive
right.
user or a non-consumptive user. So,
Absolutely. Well,
mhm,
and that's where I was going to go with this. That was one of the reasons I said it. And that's why I made that comment about you're going to be seeing me. We had talked a little bit before before the Zoom meeting. I don't know, a week ago or whatever it was, and about the
mhm,
possibilities of what I want to do a physical thing with the come up in there in video, and you can get some of this for information from you. So yeah,
mhm,
I'm very interested. I think it would be great to get out there and you know be among the elk and just get some
mhm,
video. It would be really nice. It's exciting. You mentioned earlier about conflict. Are we talking
mhm,
about different conflict with predators and
mhm,
people and things like that? Maybe highways and cars.
mhm.
What are we talking conflict?
Yeah, yep. So conflict as kind of an umbrella term, and then what would fit into that is human conflicts primarily.
Okay.
Sometimes we have the ability to manage our predators or predator densities within our elk management zones, but like I mentioned, they figure out where to reside, and if they do get preyed upon, it's part of the cycle, But
Okay.
as far as human elk conflicts. So vehicle collisions certainly one thing, especially for the central herd. It is our number one cause of mortality for adults,
Okay.
is vehicle collisions, and so we have
That's
Interstate 94 bounding one edge of our management zone, and then State Highway 54, which is relatively significant, but really the interstate there is our main source of elk
that's
vehicle collisions. So
oh
yeah, well,
really?
that's one source. Yep, yep. One source of conflict that arises, but also the agricultural conflict that exists across other wildlife species, but across elk as well, or within elk as well. So,
Sure.
they're a big-bodied species. They herd up. And, if a herd of elk comes into an area, they can cause agricultural damage. And so, we try to work as best as we can with our agricultural producers in the area who are experiencing conflict due
Okay.
to elk. We have our Wisconsin agricultural damage program that producers can enroll in and receive assistance through abatement or compensation. But then also from a management standpoint, we can work to reduce some of the elk densities in those conflict areas. And so
Okay.
that's where I kind of tie it back to our elk hunting units. There's a unit that we'd like to decrease the population a little bit. We can do that through our state hunt. And we can also utilize our winter trapping management as a way to physically trap and relocate elk from these damaged conflict areas
Right.
into areas where they're already existing and conflict is minimal. So we do have that as a management tool available to us, and we've implemented it for the last 4 or 5 years, I'd say, to try to reduce some of those densities in those conflict areas. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's tricks to all that, but then again, to have you got to have the balance and you got to have the wildlife, and it's nice to have it. I mean,
Hmm.
and people probably now that they're there aren't going to want to see anything any different. So
Yeah.
that's very nice.
Yeah, I think that's a great term you used is balance. And so
Yeah.
we understand and we hear about these conflicts, conflicts as an umbrella term. But then we also hear and see the added benefit that our county revenue generates, or sorry, our county generates in the form of revenue and tourism. And so yeah, trying to strike that balance between elk existing on the landscape, minimizing conflicts, providing opportunities. And so, yeah, definitely a few metrics that goes into the consideration when we're trying to figure out where should this herd be numbers wise or spatially.
Yeah. Well, that's really nice. That's great to hear. So you manage the elk. Is there any other species I mean, that you're kind of in, or what? Being a wildlife biologist, there's a lot of different ones. So it's not just the elk that you're.
Yeah, so the department's programs are split up where you have game species managers. So
Okay.
any species that has a hunting season, and then non-game species. So
Got it. Okay.
species that are not hunted or trapped. So yeah, we're in the wildlife management program where myself and other staff in that program manage game species within the county. So unique to Jackson County, and then the northern zone is we get to manage the elk herds.
Yeah.
But then deer, turkey, bear, grouse, all those huntable species as well. We have a influence and management responsibility for within our counties.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And
Mhm.
then, well, we're definitely gonna have to do some more then because
Yeah.
I mean, it's endless to what can be done with things like
Mhm.
this and educational. The people want to
Mhm.
know, and it's great to bring those reports to them, and it's good to have good news. Like because I used to go up with a group of guys that were a little bit older than me, not a lot older than me, but you know,
Mhm.
some of us, we just don't get old, but no.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that because my mom brother-in-law that went with me, when he sees this, he's going to be on me. But we used to go. He wanted to keep going, but we used to go up to the Violence County area. But in that area, and I swear, and I could be wrong. I may be wrong, but I thought I heard it was way off in the distance, or maybe I just wanted to see one. But I thought I heard a bugle.
Oh, yep.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if I could have or not, and my brother-in-law and I were talking about it on the way out, and yeah, I'm keeping an eye on time here. And okay, well, we were talking about it on the way out, and he asked me what was it. I says I'm not going to say that it was an elk, but I'm going to say that's what it sounded like.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, Vilas County isn't too far. It's
Oh,
actually, I
okay.
was looking at a map
Oh,
here to
gotcha.
check
Okay,
my county locations.
right.
It is adjacent to our Northern Elk Management
Hmm.
Zone. And so, one thing that we do to keep tabs on some of our bull behaviors in the fall time is to keep
Okay,
a record of transient bulls. And, so all the bulls are trying to find an opportunity to breed. And
right.
so if they are a subdominant satellite bull, immature, often they will become transient. They'll move out of the elk management zones looking for a breeding opportunity. And so I don't think it is far off to say that potentially you did hear a bugle in Vilas County. We do keep track of that, and we've seen elk existing, especially during those fall time periods outside of the management zones.
Right.
And maybe not even adjacent counties. So they'll travel far and wide sometimes. And we know this because we get observations from members of the public.
Okay.
Sometimes media sources pick it up.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, it's often in that fall time period that we can see elk existing in some of these counties that aren't within the management zone. So yeah, but very potential. Not
Hmm.
far off to
Interesting.
potentially be a consideration that it was an
Yeah.
elk that you did here.
Well, that's interesting because that's it's just I love it up there. And this year, for my deer hunt, I've been The people are waiting. I've been videoing the southeast Wisconsin bow hunt. Now the problem I got here is there's a lot of land. There's deer, but there's farmers you have to knock on doors, or there's real estate. But you got to get permission. And there we do have the public lands. It just depends on how invaded they become and what's happening, because we have pheasant season open. A lot of the small game seasons are open right now, and people are out there with the guns. And and deer are at the peak of the rut right now, so I'm going to get back out a little later today or tonight or tomorrow for sure, and try to see if I can't wrap this one up. But and if I don't, I don't. But I'm okay with that. I just like being out there, and then I just hate to bring these guys a season where I'm out there doing the hunt and I don't have anything to show up. But I'm still okay with that, because it's not really about that. And then the gun season's following here. What, next week?
Yeah, the 22nd, I believe, is the date. So next Saturday.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be wrapping up the bow hunt in southeast Wisconsin continues through the gun season. However, the it's easier with the gun. Only I love the archery. Don't get me wrong. And it's not even to me. I mean, I just like the bow hunting, but I love the archery. Period. I mean, thought about joining a range and getting out and doing some target shooting. So I just like archery. To me, it's fun. But
yeah, it definitely adds a layer of another layer of complexity or challenge. And gosh, I feel like you get some real nice days in October or during that bow season to sit out in the woods. And if you're one that can sit all day long, hopefully you have a good season or a good day for it rather. But, even those interactions or encounters that you have, whether it be a doe and fawn or a smaller buck that you're not ready to fill your tag on quite yet, those are still great experiences to be able to add to the video. And, people who are interested in hunting value those encounters too. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm really into that. I enjoy getting out there, and the best part of it is Christina, correct? Okay, the best part of it is we bring knowledge to the public, and that's important, and people want to know that, and it not only helps during I've been covering the hunt segment, but it's not only about the hunt; it also helps during the year round. People want to take vacations; they want to see these animals, take their families up. Christine, I'd like to talk to you a little bit more, but our time is running up here. So what I can do is, if we can do a follow-up and eventually, I hope to get up there by you guys, and we'll do some live footage of it. Well, up there.
We've definitely had different media come with, whether it be still photo, photography, videos. So yeah, definitely the opportunity exists. Gosh, a half hour certainly goes fast when we get to chatting over coffee.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll get back with you, and we can always do another follow-up if you'd like. And,
certainly.
We'll get back together, have another Zoom and something, and talk about some of that stuff.
Yep, that'd work fine.
Phenomenal. Well, Christine, it was great having this with you this morning, and thanks for opening up our mind to the elk. This is wonderful. I mean, people are going to love this.
Yeah, appreciate the opportunity to share a few educational moments with you and everyone and all the viewers.
This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, take care.
You have a good day.
Bye-bye.